Hello dear friends, welcome to another episode of Болгар Capital's Investing in Traditions format, of which, unfortunately, we haven't filmed in a while. But today we have a very curious guest who tells us about his passion, which he has even managed to successfully monetize to date in Bulgaria and abroad. He's into graffiti or so-called art on walls, which is very interesting. He depicts not just any graffiti, but very often Bulgarian characters. Next to me there is also one, Risto Botev, painted on canvas by the incredible No Name, the man with no name. This is a gift for our studio of Болгар Capital. But today, as I said, we're going to talk to a man who doesn't just paint on canvas. And that might not sound right, because there's nothing, just, about painting on canvases. But we're going to talk about something a little different, namely painting on walls and why it's so important for Bulgarian identity and pride. We'll also talk to our guest about how he has traveled much of the world, but at every moment the importance of Bulgaria weighed on him. And he always wanted to come back here. And when he came back, he realized that he wanted to stay here. We'll talk about how we shouldn't complain and how we have all the resources to succeed if we want to. He's done just that, and it's time to start actually talking, not just explaining how we're going to talk. But before I do that, to start the podcast, I just wanted to say thank you sincerely for subscribing to our channel, for liking our videos, because it helps us grow and spread our content to more people, which is extremely important. Because we're not just talking about money here. We're also talking about Bulgarianness, about history, about pride, and about how our glorious country's past can help us evolve both as individuals and as a society moving forward, more effectively and more broadly. So, again, thank you and I wish you a pleasant viewing of this episode. Hi Niko, welcome today to Investing in Tradition, Болгар Capital's format for people who are engaged in Bulgarianness and acting to restore and sustain the flame of Bulgarianness and history. I believe you are one such person based on the information I have acquired about your work and your actions. So, I won't take up any of your time, I would like you to introduce yourself. So my first question to you is, who are you and why should people listen to you today? Tell us a little bit more about yourself, what your name is, how old you are and anything else you can think of.
Hi Pavka, thanks for being here. I'm very happy to be part of the show. My name is Nikolai Chakъров, 28 years old. I was born in Varna. What is very characteristic for me is that I deal with graffiti, or the so-called painting on walls. We are currently participating in various campaigns to paint and improve different spaces. At the moment, we are focusing on painting schools, as we notice a problem, that a lot of teenagers don't know who the patrons are behind their schools. Given that the kids like us, we thought we could use the authority we have with them to teach them something, show them something, and therefore integrate them in some way into the process of painting itself and tell a story through what we are best at, namely painting.
Yeah, it's a very interesting initiative and we'll get there, how the kids have started to like you, who the team is. But before that, let's rather start with this. How did you decide to get into graffiti in the first place, into painting on walls? What was your inspiration?
Well, it's a long story. As a matter of fact, I started doing this thing maybe 12 to 13 years ago, so I'm 28 now, I was a lot younger. Generally, in the beginning, we would go and doodle indiscriminately all over the place because there just wasn't like a YouTube thing. There wasn't anybody to tell us, realistically speaking, how to do this thing. Where to do it, that's actually one of the things that I'm struggling with at the moment, educating people on where they can afford to draw, where they can't, that sort of thing. But I'll come back to that in a moment. So, I've been doing this thing for 12 to 13 years. I've come a long way literally as I've changed different countries that I've lived in and actually done all sorts of work, literally everything. I've been a garbage man, for example, in England. I've washed dishes in the States. I've been to a lot of places in general, all kinds of jobs I've tried. And at some point I said I want to do something that's mine. At the same time, that's when this passion for entrepreneurship was awakened in me. I started watching YouTube super much. It was just becoming popular then, hey this right, everyone being an entrepreneur, everyone talking about crypto, about stocks, about different things. But somehow that thing was far away from me and I was like, I can't be an entrepreneur, right, in my own way. What can I do? What are my strengths? To paint, however, drawing limits me to myself and myself only. At the next moment I decided I have to get good first, learn a lot of things and from there on build a team because two hands are two hands. More people, more opportunity for bigger projects. That's when I got the idea that I wanted to do a project that was actually much bigger than myself and bring different people under one common denominator. And so the idea for the Graphs project was born. It's my graffiti agency and we actually have a parallel business that goes by the same name. Radoslav Mavrodiev and I, who has already visited you, are partners there. There we work actively with children and develop different games for them. At the moment, a 3D printed coin game called Graph Coin is extremely popular. Here, they're so big. And this thing is super popular right now, kids are playing it. We've made different versions, we have Bulgarian coins. Each one of these coins tells a story and actually the whole thing is really interesting. It gives me a lot of pleasure, because we work mostly with kids in this business and it's a great pleasure. In terms of painting, we work with a variety of clients across the country and beyond. I have done projects in quite a few places in the States, South Africa, various countries in Europe, all over the country literally. And it's interesting, every time you meet really different people, sometimes unique people. A lot of our clients become our friends afterwards and we help each other out over time. It's just something really unique that I'm super grateful to the universe for giving me in some way. I'm working on this thing and developing it because it's extremely important and valuable to me. Actually, the last 2 years it's been 95% of my life. I work from morning to night. Every now and then a little bit of that free time for something else, but it's so little that it just doesn't feel like it.
Would you say that bothers you, or would you rather enjoy it that way? About work, I mean.
Well, rather glad. I'm beginning to realize it now that I'm 28. I'm not saying I'm an adult, but I'm at such a transitional age and I'm starting to realize, it can't always be this way. In this case, I've pretty much neglected myself, purely physically, I used to be a super active athlete, working out, running marathons. Now I've put on a lot of weight, I just don't have the discipline. And how can I say, when I get away from the office for an hour and the sights I take on, I feel guilty, like I have to keep working, which at the same time gives me a tremendous amount, energizes me. When I do a project, I'm like, great, I did it. Half an hour of peace and I can't wait to jump into the next one. I mean, I don't have enough, yes, I want to do more and more and more. But it's more in terms of I want to give more, because I realize I have a certain time where I'm here, and I just want to give as much of myself as I can, give myself such a good one. But I realize that that kind of thing would be hard to last. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a family and stuff, God forbid, and then it gets a lot more complicated, I guess. It's going to be the big game changer where I can't get home at 2 o'clock or getting up, come on, getting up early is clear, but I'm a fan of working really late. I have nights where I don't get home at all. If a subject appeals to me that much, I can work on it until morning. Sometimes I might not sleep, I go straight to the next thing and so. I mean, I go to some of these extremes that are not always healthy, so to speak.